So now we're ready to move on to our next speaker. We have talked, Michelle talked to us about having conversations and dates with our finances. We've had others throughout the week talk to us about wealth and creating wealth. Now we're moving on to Rosetta Bryson, who will talk to us not only about building wealth, but making it multiply. So let's bring to the stage Miss Rosetta.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bishop Rosetta Bryson. I'm the CEO of Simple Trader Pro, the biggest Black-owned, woman-owned fintech on Wall Street. We specialize in fintech, edtech, and AI, one of the few companies that does it and does it well. We teach kids all over the country how to trade as if they're institutional traders and grown people nonetheless. We also have a side of the company that's asset management. Today, I'm glad to participate in the top 100 most powerful Black women summit, where we're going to share those perspectives, financial empowerment, discipline, and knowledge that it takes to translate your ordinary into extraordinary, and your extraordinary translates into great economic power. I'm honored to be part of the space with you, with women building, leading, teaching, shaping what the future can look like. And I want you to know you're part of that future. I look to see you there. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? I believe that I'm on. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, hi.
Yes.
Hello. I was just saying, by the way, I remember when we met, Rosetta, and we had just such a brilliant energy. I'm looking at the wrong screen again,
Oh,
the camera.
there we go. Yeah.
I keep doing that. As soon as I heard your name, I was like, oh my God, I'm excited. I remember our first conversation that we had, and there was just an energy there. And then when I found out like what you did and the training, I don't want to give too much away, lady.
She said to talk.
Okay, cool. So I met this lady. So okay, let me get into it. Let me spill the tea. So I was sitting there in my office. My husband's in there, and he's a trader. And then he came on board, and the ball of energy that you were when you spoke about everything that you learned about trading, the stocks, the market. And then we were talking about how you then got involved in fintech. You started your own training program. It's the largest training program owned by a Black female entrepreneur. Yeah, and it was just like, we've had quite a lot of conversations about building wealth. And one thing I do want to say, ladies, is that business can bring you success, and it will bring you success. You can make money from business, but it's what you do with your money and how you invest it to build wealth. So this is going to be a session that's completely off the hook. So I just wanted to come on, Rosetta, and just give you your flowers, because you're just amazing. I remember that conversation we had. We just connected.
Yes. First of all, so honored to be here today. If I have to say it one more time, the top 100 most powerful Black women virtual summit, just an honor to be here. To all of you ladies that are on the main stage, hello. So glad that you're here. And I have so much that I want to say, but I want to first thank you for allowing me to be here and share. Because when we first spoke, I shared my story, and my story starts with a desire to have more than anyone else thought was ever possible. My desire is not just about me, but about Black women all over the world. And my aim in life, and I'm going to get to it at the end, is to create 1,000 millionaires. I'm way on my way to doing that. We have
One, two, three, four, five more.
We have, I believe, 41 that have followed me, the way that I teach, the way that I trade, and they are there. And so when I say that we teach trading, we do, but we trade every day. We have a virtual trade floor. We have 400 people on the floor on one side, and then we have the newer people on the other side. Those people who have been with me for over 10 years, because they understand that what we do, they understand the possibility of trading, and not just trading profitably. And so we teach that, we live that. And our other side that makes our company so different is we do asset management. We only work with conglomerates, and we work with nation states, and we take a little bit of their sovereign wealth fund, and what we do is we manage it for them. And so very glad about what we do. So, and very thankful. So glad to be here. To everyone on the stage, first of all, what beautiful ladies. And I am grateful to be here. So if it's okay, I'm going to start. That's all right.
Leave you to it.
And so I'm just sort of a real type of girl. So just hang with me. I want to talk about capital confidence, commanding, and good. Someone's doing the framing. Good. Commanding the language of money, because that's the language I know. And I want every woman to know it. So again, good morning. And I want to start with a truth that's uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. We've been taught to earn money, but you have not been taught to command it. And I declare that in this season, you must command it. And when you don't command capital or money, you live your life negotiating for, with systems that do. So I'm not here today to talk about financial literacy at all. Don't care about that. The way we've been taught to think about it, budgeting, coupons, saving your money, save, shares, but we're not doing all that. I'm here to talk about financial power, because if I know anything about my sisters, and you all are sister, you work in power. And the ability to understand power, meaning capital, markets, decision-making, scaling, the decision to know that does a few things. First of all, it allows you to have confidence, because confidence changes your choices. Your choices change your outcome, and your outcome change your communities. And I believe you can do all three. We do it effortlessly. And let me just say, and I'm going to pause here, we do it so well it offends people. And so a lot of times we're wondering, why are people offended by us? They're offended because you walked in the room, but your anointing and the favor that you have on your life allows for it, because you have been tapped and assigned to do this. You're not just a Black girl by accident. You're not just a powerful Black woman by accident. You have been set there. That's your assignment in life. And so when you walk in that assignment, everything changes. So let me keep moving. So what happens is when you've been beat down or told you cannot, or have to wait, or have to jump through hoops, or hit the glass ceiling 100 times, the confidence sort of disappears. But the confidence gap is more expensive. That you cannot let that stop you, because a confidence gap is more expensive than a pay gap. And so we hear a lot about wages, and I want to just tell you, I listened to the last speaker. She is phenomenal. I just give a great big shout out to her. So we hear a lot about wage gaps, and we should. But there's another gap that quietly costs women of color. And it cost us decades, and it cost us wealth. And it's the confidence gap. Not a confidence in who we are as women, a confidence in the language of money, because if you don't know it, you can't speak it. And so when I'm talking about the language of money, I'm talking about markets, I'm talking about assets, I'm talking about risk, I'm talking about compounding, I'm talking about volatility, I'm talking about ownership, I'm talking about VWAP, I'm talking about derivatives, I'm talking about futures, I'm talking about all commodities, I'm talking about all of those things, because most of us women weren't told you should understand the market the way you understand your career. We weren't told that. And you need both. This I tell you, remember that little song, this I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Because if not, you'll make money, but you won't know what to do with it. You'll make it, and as soon as it gets in your hands, it'll come out of your hands. And so I need you to interrupt, step up, ladder up into this next phase of who you are. You don't have to do anything new. You don't have to change anything you've already changed. When I tell people to come in and let me help you become a bona fide millionaire, to step up to the next level, it has nothing to do with what you've already accumulated. Matter of fact, I tell women, wherever you've got your money set so far, you've been at a job for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, leave that alone. Let's start something new. And from the new thing, we have created over 40 some odd millionaires. And so for those of you who were told to be safe, who were told to save, who were told to work hard, if you work harder than anybody else, you'll get it, who were told to just hope and pray, I want you to know hope is not a strategy. And being careful is not a wealth plan. I need you to ladder up with people like me and create the door and kick the door in if it doesn't just open, so that you can walk into this next level and you can relax and live. I tell people at Simple Trader Pro, that's my company, one of many, that I can teach you three things. I can teach you to trade anywhere in the world. I can teach you how to trade and never lose your principal. And I can teach you how to trade your way out of ordinary to extraordinary so that you may dream. It cannot be just the rapper, the ball player that has 2 vacations a year. It cannot be just the extraordinary people. This plan and this ability to earn wealth is for everybody, but you've got to tap into it. So the first thing I want to tell you, second thing I want to tell you, that the market isn't just a boys' club. It's a language, and you have to know the language. So here's what no one is saying plainly. The market is not just for men. The market is for people who understand it. my job in life is to make sure more people of color, women especially, know how to understand the math, the language. I am a person who believes in the language is like math, like code, like law. My job in life is to help you to decode it. And if you do not speak the language of money or capital, you will always be on the receiving end of someone else's decisions, because there's something about having your own where your defiance sort of picks up. Not that we're not defiant anyway, where your confidence picks up to say, I don't have to take this. I don't have to live this way. I don't have to settle for less. I don't have to wait for a pay raise. I know what I have. And so that's the empowerment that I'm getting at. Not waiting for someone else to know you, figure you out, pat you on the shoulder, not running through hoops, not doing any of that. And so you don't need to become a hedge fund manager to understand markets, but you need to know what the markets are doing, because capital is deciding where schools get built, where jobs go, where neighborhoods rise up and some stay in the hood state, and which one gets the money and which one is ignored. That's what capital does. And so with capital comes confidence. And so one of the things that I also think, and why is this important? Let me just say this today. I'm a big believer in the language today. If you read the New York Times in New York City, the first thing that they have on is that the Department of War Hedgemeth, I don't want to mess up his name. He is over the Department of War. There were promotions to be given for a level 1, star 1, people in the Pentagon, people in the Army, and the people he threw off the list were Black women. Hear me today. 2 were Black and 2 were women. And I want you to know they did that on purpose, because he said, I don't think the president of the United States wants to stand next to a Black woman. The officers that were over the women refused to take their name off the list, because they had jumped through the hoops. They had did the work. They were excellent in their regard. And so you're going to promote some people, but you're not going to promote other people based on their color and based on their gender. This is still happening today. Today, as we speak, it was big in the newspapers. So I say this to you today. I need your confidence and your capital to be so great that whether they did that or not, whether they took away your promotion, whether they even demoted you or not, you will have enough sitting where you're sitting, that you could take care of your family, that you could still live, that you could still vacation, that you should have more than one house, because I'm a believer that you should have 4 houses in your life. I'll cover that in a minute, but you should be able to dream. And no one, for political or social commentary, should not be able to stop you, because we understand that this is not always the case. As it's in the paper today, I'm teaching a few things and I need you to hang with me. And so this is what I'm teaching. First of all, you have to walk into what's new. You can't be afraid of what's new. You've just got to walk into it. One of the things that I know about Black women, especially those in America, they're highly educated. It offends people. We're highly educated. There's more Black women graduating per capita as from college than any other group in the world. They're highly educated, so that you can't take our education from us. You can't say we don't meet the requirements. So what they're doing now is trying to find some either DEI or something else to say we don't belong. I want you to know, so let me just encourage you today. You belong. You have it. You got it. So please don't let no one give up your Black girl swagger. Keep it, throw your head up, let's go. Just keep it moving, because if I could teach you the financial language, there's nothing that will ever hold you back. So let's start with AI. AI is the new financial language. And so you can't put your head in the sand. You can't act like it doesn't exist. You're entering into a new era. AI is becoming the new financial language, and I need you to know it. The same way the internet separated those who adapted from those who got left behind, AI will separate people who can make money decisions with data from people who are only guessing. So I need my sisters. And if you need my help, hit our QR code. We'll tell you what to do, what certificates to get quickly, where to go, because I need you to be at the top and not the bottom. I don't need you to be part of the trickle down. I need you to be part of what advances the kingdom in which you reign. Are you with me? If you don't learn this way, you will have just missed an opportunity. You will get managed by people who already know it. And women of color cannot afford to be managed by the future. So I hope you're hearing me. Are you hearing me, anybody? Just give me a thumbs up. Just let me know you're hearing me. And women of color, we cannot afford to be managed in the future. We are going to run the thing that needs to be run. We have to build. And so I don't know if they're running my slides. Let me forward to the slides with you. And so let me go back a minute. So there's a difference between earning and commanding. So let me start there with the slide number 2. So earning, you've been taught to earn money. You make money, you spend it, you pay your bills, keep going. But commanding, you have not been taught how to command money. And so my job in life is to teach you how to command money, because when you command money, you tell the money what to do, how much to earn, how much you're going to get. You're not waiting on any man, woman, boy, or girl to help you. You will do it yourself. And that's what my job in life is, to teach you how to command money. That's number 1. Number 2. And so we're moving out of just literacy, right? I need you to walk in your ability. So the word financial literacy is so inadequate to what we do. We do that with our eyes closed. Trust me. Let me just tell you about Black people in particular. That's why you have Black mothers and that can go into a refrigerator, and we see nothing but maybe a little bit of milk and some flour, and they come out with a whole dinner. So we already know what we can do with budget and coupon. But I need you to understand the power of capital markets and decision making, and how you, instead of buying your children a pair of Nikes, the first time buy them, the second time buy the sock, right? The second time they need shoes, buy them. The third time, buy the sock. Because if you even did just a little of that negotiation, I'm going to tell you, you'd have $1 million. Just if you did it from 2016 to now, just buying tennis shoes every other time, you'd be a millionaire at this point. So I need you to understand what money can do when you put it in the right place. Are you with me? What money? So we as Black women cannot afford to be managed. We have to build our future. We have to understand our future, and we have to own what our future produces. So let me talk to you about ownership. Let me talk to you about, so I'll go by the slides, the chain of reaction, how confidence transforms your reality. So if you're confident, you'll make the right choices because you know the right information. And so while it's talked about in terms of confidence, as I've spoken to my sister there on the platform, the thing that's a little different is not just confidence, it is access. My job in life is to give people access, which gives you choices. Your confidence changes your choices. So if I'm confident that I can now take a little bit of my money, instead of buying bread and tennis shoes and a red bottom shoe, but I can invest it, and that invested will make itself 10 times worth what it was by the end of the year from the beginning, then I'm making confident choices. When I make confident choices, the outcomes work for me, and the outcomes change who I am, and not just who I am, but my children and my children's children. Are you with me? So I want you to know why this is important and why we must do it. So I'm going to move forward, but I want you to know that my job in life, again, is to get you to ownership. I need you to get you to ownership, because ownership is what changes your life. So let me talk to you about owning something versus just having something. So I'll put it this way, and let me be very clear. Ownership is not optional. Ownership is not a luxury. Ownership is not nice to have. Ownership is protection. And if I could say that to my sisters, I need you to be protected. When you own asset, you own options. When you own options, you own your freedom. And you will not be in a situation, or you will not stay in a situation that does not benefit you. If you never stay in a situation that doesn't benefit you, your children see it. They will not stay in a situation that doesn't benefit them. We just don't need women at tables, because they always say, we'll let you sit at our table. We need women who move the table, because they understand the allocation. So again, I just don't want you at the table. I want a seat at the table. That's not good enough. I need you to be able to move the table, because you understand who you are, what you bring to the table, and what your allocation is. We need women of color who are not only earning checks, but who understand how money multiplies, how markets price risk, how confidence becomes capital, and how capital becomes influence. I know that's a lot to take in, but I need you to hear me today when I tell you ownership is not optional. It's your protection. I need you to move the table. I need you to understand by owning and not renting how my life changes. So this is why you see the series of it. And the more you go up, the less people it is, but it's okay, because I believe you're an architect to your own future. And sometimes when you're the architect, you can't bring everybody with you. So here's my challenge today. I need you to stop asking, how do I make money? I need you to start asking, how does money move? Right? How does money move? I need you to stop asking, how do I save? And I need you to start asking, how do I own? The two diverge at the ends, but it's almost seemingly the same path. I need you to stop asking, am I ready? I need you to start asking, what is my plan? And then I need you to walk out the plan, because the market doesn't need permission to move, and neither do you. This market that I work in is $1 trillion market. And let me just say, $4 trillion on the low end, almost every day. That's how money moves around the world. So when I'm asking you how money moves, what circle? Money doesn't move linearly. Money doesn't move. It moves in a circle. So are you ready? Yes, you're ready, because you learned something now that you didn't even know before. The market doesn't need permission to move. You don't need permission to move. You don't need permission to learn. You don't need permission to earn. You don't need permission to save. And you don't need permission to invest. You just have to have the access to what it looks like. And I want you to know, and I'm almost done, the era of women of color who can command capital is not coming. The era of women of color who command capital is here. And if you say it, it will change your life. It will change your bloodline. It will change your community. And it can change who gets to write the future. So let me just say this about AI and your future. AI is created to take information that's all over the world, information that's all over the world, and scrape it up. And if you ask a question, it'll give you the answer. There's a reason you need to write the future, because there are people whose sole desire is to write you out. Because if they don't see you in the books, if they don't see you in the libraries, if they don't see your work, if they don't see you in the colleges and the university, if they don't see your work or deny that book exists or try to burn the book or try to burn your history, AI cannot even pull it up. And so in 5 or 10 years, they'll be saying that you don't even exist. I want you to know that you're that important. Listen to how important you are, that people would try to write you out of history, to do revisionist history, just so that you wouldn't be in it. And so I want you to know today that I and my team will do everything that we can to help you and your team learn how this works. As I said, a great big shout out to the speaker that was before me. We do something totally different. We teach you, and I usually work with the C-suites all over the world, Fortune 500 companies. I used to say Fortune 100 and 500. We don't even have time for the Fortune 100 companies. Fortune 500 companies have lined up to work with us, not to teach people who don't know about money. These are supposedly people that do. But the C-suites give all their money to the hedge funds, and the C-suites don't even know. So we bring in the C-suites and we teach them, what does money look like? What does an allocation look like? Where do I set my money? How do I move my funds? What about capital gains? All of those stuff we teach. And so I want you to know, ladies, I'm so honored to be here today. My speech is over. I just wanted to take a moment because I want to be able to ask questions and let you know how powerful you are as Black women, how wonderful you are, that you're gifted beyond measure, and that anything Simple Trader Pro can do to help you get to your next level, we will do. And so thank you today. That's what I have. Is everybody here? There you are. I can't hear anybody.
Okay. Can you hear us now?
I hear you now.
Okay,
Okay,
fantastic,
perfect.
fantastic.
So sorry.
That was just too short. That was too quick, too much
Because I-
information in too little time. It was
Right.
amazing.
It
Yeah.
was so impactful. And we were trying to get back on stage to just applaud you and say, thank you so much for all of the great information that you provided with us today. I'm seeing in the chats, someone says, I'm an architect to my own future. I love
it.
that. And they were saying things like, preach. So you definitely helped a lot of us out there. If I were to ask you, what is one thing that someone can do starting on Monday to help them to not only build wealth, but to multiply their wealth? What would you suggest?
First of all, I would suggest you first say, I can't go forward until I know what I have. So I can't move forward until I know what I have. And so a lot of us put our head in the sand and we don't want to say, I'm this much in debt. I owe this creditor. So I write down all your finances. Start with that. And if it makes you cry, to take 20 minutes, I give you 20 minutes to cry and be mad about it, and then come see us, because we will walk you out of that. But you've got to be real. You got to get to the reality of what it is. Let's get to the reality of how much money I make, how much money I owe, how much debt I'm in, how bad my credit score is, what I need to do to change it around. And so I start with the reality of this. Face your reality, because if you don't face it, you'll always be hiding it.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Michelle, one of our elite circle members said that yesterday. It's like the first step is actually just facing it. It doesn't matter. We're going on the date, right? She had money date with Michelle. You have to put your thing right in front of you. And if you cannot put it in front of you, there's no way that you know what you're working with, good or bad. So we love that. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I love the idea of, by doing that, then you know where you can start, even if it's just a few dollars or so, to start investing, to start building your wealth.
Well, can I just stop you for a minute, because we do big things. And so usually when people come to me, their mindset of what they want is too small. And so I'm like, that's too small. You'll get that in a year. So I'm a believer in big. Let's go big or go home. And so I want to know what the dream is. After you tell me what the bad part is, I want to know what the dream is. And a lot of people have been afraid to dream. What is the dream? Is a dream a house on the water somewhere? What is the dream? And hopefully the dream includes being an owner and not a renter, a lender and not a borrower. So what is the dream? And so a lot of people have lost so much confidence, and their mindset is in what it looks like on paper. I don't do this, I don't make that they cannot even dream. So I want to know what the dream is. So while I'm telling you to first let's look at the reality, then I want to know what the dream is, and let's marry the two.
You know what I really appreciate about what you just said there, Miss Rosetta, is that you said, what is the dream? For each of us, our dreams could be different. I like the idea that you said it could be just a dream to own a home. That's really elusive for a lot of people right now with the current state of economic affairs. So it doesn't have to be something super elaborate. Now, we would love, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying not to dream about being a multimillionaire or something like that. But the reality is our dream for some of us may not be that grand. Our dream might be, maybe our family has never owned a home.
Correct.
So we want to own a home. Or our dream is, I want to break into six figures because someone in my family has never made six figures.
Correct.
Things like that. So, and you can help us to get there. So I really appreciate that thought.
Yeah, I love it, because as you may or may not have heard, I'm a big dreamer, right? I love rose-colored glasses, but sometimes that's not reality for a lot of people. But you're telling us that we have to change, for those of us we have to change our mindset, because it's okay to dream big, and you have people behind you, beside you, that will help you to reach those goals. So what you're telling the ladies here today, guys, let's just dream. And we can work with Miss Rosetta to try to make those dreams a reality.
But can I say this, if I may? Let me say one thing. The reason that I want you to have a dream is because if you never have it, you'll never go after it. And so everybody, like, I love what you said, everybody's dream is different. And that's good, because we're not all the same. Some people want to travel around the world. They do not want a home. They don't want any of that. They want whatever your dream is, but you must say it, because who do you believe the most? Let me ask you ladies that question. Who do you believe the most?
We listen to ourselves the most. We're our own worst critics. So we listen to ourselves the most.
The person you believe the most is yourself, because that's who, absolutely. But if you never say it and your ear never hears it, your mind will never believe it, and it can never get under that word. And so you have to say what the dream is. And I'm not saying that it cannot happen, but we'll move towards it. But I'm trying to say you must speak the dream. You must have the courage to speak the dream. Because if you don't have the courage to speak it, and why this is so important is because we have been, a lot of us, so beat down and so disappointed and had so many disappointments that we don't even want to say it out loud. We're afraid to say it. So I need you to say it so your ears can hear it, your mind can believe it, and we move from there.
Right. So everybody should take a moment, just a second. We can't hear you, of course, but say your dream out loud.
Yeah.
Right? Just take 1 second and say your dream out loud. Did you guys do it?
Yes.
Okay. I did it. And I have one more thing to ask. What about for those of us who are not risk takers, who are afraid of taking risks and are fearful because of either, past mishaps or just life in general? They just want to be safe. What do you have to say to those people?
Then you keep your safe place, but then you move incrementally for people who are adverse to risk. Because there's people that just, I'm not doing it. This has worked for me for 20 years. I save 5% a year. I do. And just the incremental, and you're safe there because your mental health allows you to sleep at night. I know what I have. I know what I'm going to look like. I know what I'm going to retire. Yes. But for people who even do that, then I say, do something, leave what you have there. My firm does not ask you to change a thing. I think you heard me say that. We do not ask you to go into what you've already saved, what you've already put down, and change it. We do not ask you, but we do ask you to take 1 or 2% of the new thing. Take 1% of what your new funding will be. Leave the old one there. There's a scripture in the Bible, if I may, and it says you will have the former and the latter. So leave the former. We're not going to touch it. It's still going to work for you. But there's a new thing, right? And I want you to off of the, and we're not even going to take 1 or 2% of that a year, and watch it work. Watch it work. Watch us take your 1 or 2%, and if you manage it properly, it will beat the 98% you left over there comfortably.
Ooh.
I love that.
Yes.
Because I generally am a risk averse person. I think I took when I had my 401k through my corporation, because they were doing matching and things. That was the only time I did like a moderate to moderately high risk. And you're right, the yields were there. They came through. They invested in some really great mutual funds and things like that. But on my own, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Just because I was nervous. But I appreciate that you're willing to meet people where they are in their investment journey and say, okay, we're going to take this small pot over here, and I'm going to show you how that's going to grow so much that you're going to be willing to put in a little bit more. And then we're encouraged to do a little bit more at a time. Because that can be more palatable for some of us, whereas others is like, I'm just jumping in, close first.
Right. But that's great, because it now means that they're in a place of trust. We spoke about trust a lot, right? This past week. And for you to be able to offer that to them, it just means that they can trust you. And, money's life, really, for some, right?
Exactly.
And if I may, I have people, because of what we do, throw them, take my whole, and we refuse. Take my whole, can you manage? Can you just take it? And we refuse. I refuse to leave you worse than I found you. I will never, ever do it. People have asked us to, I'm like, you've left it there for 20 years. Let's leave it there. Let's then start something new. That's safe. We will never, ever do it. Now, there are a lot of people who will, we won't. So
Nice. I want to bring Savannah's on because she's been waiting.
great.
Savannah's one of our Elite Circle members. So we're going to bring Savannah to the stage
Perfect.
now, guys, because she's been patient with us, right? So give us a second. Okay, Rosetta?
okay.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Savannah, I'm going to jump.
All right. Hey, Savannah, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Great, glad to have you here. So I did want to share one statement that was posted in the comments, and then Savannah, of course, feel free to jump in and chime in with your thoughts and insights. They're always invaluable. Valerie said, "My reality, I am too old to not know more about my money." That was a powerful statement.
Very much so.
We as we've talked about throughout the week, and Michelle pointed out yesterday and saying we should be having conversations with our money, it gets to a point that it's not so much that we should know better, but it gets to the point that there are things that we just need to know, and we need to know what our money is doing, where it is going, and how it is working for us. And so that's one of the things that you encouraged, especially through investment. So I appreciate that.
Can I just say to that, please, I just believe that your time and your season hookup, please don't beat yourself up over where you're not. Just let's start now.
Yes.
Let's start now.
Yes.
The good news is you're still alive. You can start now. So that's the good news. Yes.
I
Good.
love that.
All right, Savannah, you there, Savannah?
Yes, I had to get my water. But clearly I needed this conversation because money and we tangle a lot. But what I appreciate about this is, well, first of all, I am not starting, but I'm getting more comfortable with I guess knowing that what's meant for me is meant for me, and there are just certain things that I am not able to force.
Mm.
And by that I mean you can't expect to get the income when you haven't built the infrastructure first.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And what I mean by infrastructure is infrastructure that works the best for you, not for what a coach says or a speaker says, but one that works for you. Because if you set up an infrastructure that is successful at the beginning, but you cannot maintain it for whatever reason, that's almost worse because you have the high of a success that deep inside you cannot sustain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now is and knowing what your actual resources are and not spending the resources you plan to have is also a lesson.
Projected resources.
we
Yeah.
should learn. I didn't have that lesson when I was starting out, but hopefully, the women on the call understand it's okay that you don't have certain resources. It doesn't mean that you're undersourced. It just means you're going to have to find unique ways to get the type of sourcing you need.
Exactly. And that just means too, that it's just going to take some time to, like you said, to talk about getting that infrastructure in place. So that's a really good time to get to know your money, get to know where everything is, and then you can figure out where you can start. And I really appreciated that too about what Miss Rosetta was saying as far as the infrastructure, because we don't think of our money as foundational for us.
Mm.
It's such a currency that is in the sense of it's movement all the time. It's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. That we don't think of it as the foundation for things to come. Foundation as, we can build on top of that. And so I appreciate that thought that you shared again of once you know your money status, and start where you are and start building from there.
If I may,
and have your dreams.
Yes, if I may, I first of all, Savannah, thank you for speaking. I love what you said. It may not, I don't want to overstate where I am. I don't want to start something and then have it crumble because it's worse than if I'd never even started it. I get that, but I do want you to see what's there. And as I said, don't beat yourself up. Start small. Let's do small for a year. Let's do small increments. Let's just see if I can incrementally save this amount a month. I don't care if it's $25 or $50. Let's see if I can do that for 6 months. And then let me up it to $100. Let's see if I have to move it back down to 75. Let's just see. And then with what I've saved in a year, let me then talk to someone like me who'll tell you where to sit it. And within months, that is quadrupled. And so then you do it again. You don't start with what you have. Go back to the $50 for 60 months or $75 and do it again, because then your money works for you. Mm-hmm. And I love that you're not setting yourself up for failure, but there's a way to set yourself up for success. And if I could ever be of any assistance to help you do that, then I will. We're very good at that. Just a little bit. But again, it takes you saying what's there and dealing with the reality of that. Mm-hmm. And
yeah. It was also meaning not just personal, yes, but also how you bring in that revenue stream as well.
Yes.
And I was thinking more of it from the entrepreneurial perspective of infrastructure and foundation, but those two things are not disconnected. So you're right. The personal finance and the professional finance, quote unquote, they are tied. And I am definitely doing that right now. I'm saving $25.
That's where you have to start. That's where
I have to start. Yep.
As an entrepreneur, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. As an entrepreneur, as I said, I think big. We went from $0 to $1 million in 1 year. Oh. We thought that out. But when I put together the foundation, I said, I'm not putting together a foundation for 2 people. I'm putting together a foundation. So if 100 people came, then it would grow into that. So the foundation was set. No one could ask me for a piece of paper, a piece of business, a license or anything. We had all that. We set the foundation up right. So when you set that up right, there's nothing anyone can do, but it become a great movement and a great blessing.
Mm-hmm. That's what we've been speaking about a lot, with the House of Loren, the foundation, and that applies through all avenues now, because now we're using foundation not just on identity, but now we're using foundation for your finances, right? Which is going to drive everything else in life currently, until we get to a system where money's not a thing.
Exactly. And Victoria brought out a really good point. Small steps it's still progress. Absolutely. And so if we forget that babies don't often at a certain age, certain number of months, just jump up and start walking. Mm-hmm. Some do. Some are able to get up and go. Others have to sit there on their knees and their knees in their hands, and they kind of rock back and forth. Others will start crawling right away before they start grabbing onto things to pull themselves up. And then they pull themselves up, and then they start taking their first couple of steps. Before they're able to take those first couple of steps, fall on that little pamper butt, which is always so cute. And like Savannah says, the booty shuffle, and all of that. Exactly. Before they actually get to the point where they can stand up and walk. And so that's the same for us. I don't care where we are in our entrepreneur journey. And I know we can apply what Miss Rosetta is saying, not only to our personal lives, but to our professional lives as well as entrepreneurs. The point is, wherever we are, go ahead and start. Whether that is crawling on your knees, doing the booty shuffle, getting up and holding on to things, or actually taking off and walking and flying. That's great. Wherever you are, it's okay to start where we are. Mm-hmm. She will meet you where you are and give you the guidance and tools you need. With that said, take a look in the chat, because her contact information is in the chat provided for us. Simple Trader Pro. So she's on LinkedIn. You have simpletraderpro.com. email is support@simpletraderpro.com. She's on Instagram, FB, X, and TikTok. So wherever you are, so is she.
Basically, we have no excuse not to contact you.
Amen.
Rosetta.
There you go.
No excuse.
Amen.
Right?
Just like it takes a village to help that child get up and learn how to walk and, to raise them, it's the same thing when it comes to our finances. So we've had a lot of great resources out throughout the week. And now you have one that's telling you, not only will I take you from where you are to where your dreams are, I'm going to help you lay out the blueprint so you can successfully get there.
And guess what she's also telling you? She has 1,000 slots. How many do you have left? She wants you to be a number in her 1,000 to 1 million.
I think that we're going to get, because this is a great year in terms of oil and gas, just so you know. In terms of minerals, we're killing it this year. So we're at 40. I think we're going to get to the 60 this year. So we've got 900. I'm going to say 900. The 40 are verified. And
You
so
ladies want to congratulations on that.
Yeah.
So listen, we have room for 900 more, and
Yeah.
if you want to be there, right? Good.
Yeah, and we have several thousands that are already registered for this, and we'll be even more will register to watch it on the replay.
Right?
So we're going to help Miss Rosetta reach her goal,
Mm-hmm.
and she's going to help us to reach our goals. So
Ooh.
everybody's dreams are going to come true. Okay,
Yes.
how about that?
Community.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Miss Rosetta, for being here. Thank you for providing your insights and your wisdom. Just get into the chat, get her information, contact her, follow her, and listen to those gems and those nuggets. Even if you're not ready to work with her yet, take those gems and those nuggets, because those are still steps that will start getting you to where you want to be, and she will then pick you up and get you to the rest when you're ready.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
All right.
That sounds
All
great.
right.
So much. Have a good rest of the day, Miss Rosetta. Thank
Bye.
you for being here.
Good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, great.
Bye.
So